us to various organizations to support conservation programs. Support conservation efforts, especially in focus in the endangered animals. We understand rhinos are endangered, elephants are endangered, and we have other ecosystems that are also endangered that we help to support, to protect them. Just in form of pictorials, this shows during the translocation activity. We have a picture of the KWS staffs, the rangers, and the doctors, the vet doctors, and then the Saboma. These are the candidates being translocated. We have also a pictorial of our training. We have the first pictorial is training at the organization. We're sorry about the COVID-19. Earlier on, we used to do training in the center, but for now we're doing the virtual trainings. The second picture shows the virtual training that we did with teachers from Ruma Game Reserve, if I'm not wrong, Ruma Homa Bay region training. Then we produce also resource materials to aid in conservation effort. So ESD resource materials. We have posters, conservation education posters, displayed by the school groups that visited the organization. We also have thematic books for ESD. Thus we have primary and also we have secondary. Remember, we also have brailles. You can also get brailles of the same topic. So besides just doing the training, we normally get an opportunity to also distribute resource materials. And as a team being trained, in our activities of the workshop, we are going to receive these conservation education materials. When you get an opportunity to visit the center, these are the programs and these are the activities children engage in, interacting with the giraffes through feeding them and getting to learn more about why we have these giraffes and how they can take care of our environment in general. This is at the center, but we normally also have virtual training or virtual trips for the children. So if you have the devices that you know, we can engage the school. Kindly liaise with us or get our contacts, and we are going also to do the virtual ecology trips or virtual trips with the schools. During our ecology trip, children get to visit the center. We visit other education sites or conservation sites like Mamba Village. We also visit Nairobi National Park, and we go specifically to Nairobi Animal Orphanage. Later on, we give children a lunch or a snack, and then we take them back to the school. This is a free program done by the organization to ensure that we pass a knowledge of conservation to these children and also to give them a memorable time. It's not only about learning, but to leave a mark to these children's life. We do have an environmental competition. For now, it's on. I don't know whether your schools, because we normally distribute them through the poster, especially the contact schools that we have. We also send them through the WhatsApp groups, the groups that we have, especially the areas you have trained. We also have our referees probably in different regions. We normally distribute the posters to them to help us distribute other schools. So we have an environmental competition that's on. It's annual. It starts from December to March. Probably we're going to share with you, because now we have a WhatsApp group, we're going to share with you a poster and ensure you share with the children or with the pupils. It's under different category. We have the kindergarten category, the primary category, which is upper and lower. We also have high school or secondary category, and we have tertiary. So you only do the questions which falls under your category, and it's upon you teachers to guide the children or the pupils on how to go about the questions according to the theme. And to mark the end of my presentation, I want to thank you all, and our contacts are here. These are the organization contacts. In case of anything, you want to visit the organization, you want to learn more about the organization, reach us through the contacts below. But we are going to send this presentation to you, and you'll be able to access our contacts, and you can call us anytime. Thank you and welcome once again. I don't know whether you have any question, but welcome once more. Thank you. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor, for the way you have conducted the presentation. Any questions, you can just raise your hand. I'll be able to see it. You can just raise your hand.
You can also write your question in the Zoom chat box. Then Kevin is going to read all the questions once, then we act on them.
Thank you, Mr. Mavengi, Charles, for the comments. If there are no questions, I'd assume that you're very understood. So we'll go to the KWS Regional Office, Mwea National Reserve. I can see Elijah Mwithi has a question. You can unmute.
Question. Hello.
Hello, can hear you.
Yes, I'm asking if those areas we have covered, if we can receive them through the WhatsApp for reference, I think it is better.
Yes, all the information that Mr. Ratego has presented to us will be sent to you both on email and on WhatsApp.
Yes. Okay. That's okay. Thank you.
Mr. Bogonko, you can unmute. Mr. Bokonko James, you can unmute. Mr. Bokonko. Madam Judy, you can unmute.
Yes, I am Bokongo James.
Yes.
Yeah, my question it concerns the trip for the students. I wanted to know whether it is free or they are supposed to chip in with something when they are going for such a kind of trips. The previous speaker which has mentioned.
Thank you, Mr. Bokonko. Madam Judy, you can respond as you say what you want to say. You can unmute. We can't hear you. Madam Judy, we can't hear you. We still can't hear you.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. I wanted to use this opportunity to introduce myself. And my name is Judy Sembe. I'm part of the team working in the education department here at the Giraffe Center. So it's nice to meet you all here. I wish you a smooth learning. I'll be mainly behind the scenes, like the whole morning I'm taking the registration details. So kindly you need to ensure that you put all the details in the chat box. I'm seeing some people just putting their name only or their name and school. Those are not the full registration details that we need. So to react to the question about the school trips. We have two programs for school trips. The first one is the school visitation, whereby as a school, you organize to bring your children here at the Giraffe Center. That means that you use your own transport. And once you come here, as Victor said, we shall give you a free entry and ensure that your learners are given a conservation talk before going to meet the giraffes. And then the second school trip program we have is the ecology trip. And for that one is what we are restricting to within Nairobi, because that is just a day's program whereby we carry schools just for one day. And for that program, it is fully funded or sponsored by the Giraffe Center. We give them transport. We also pay the tickets to the places we visit. And then during lunchtime, we give them some meal so that they can have the energy to finish the trip. Yeah, so we have those two the schools program, the school visitation, whereby as a school, you organize for the school trip. You will use your own transport, but once you arrive here at the Giraffe Center, we'll give you a free entry. And exactly if you've booked and you want to come between any day, Monday to Friday, and between 9 and 12 noon. So I hope I'm clear on that. I'll take it back to the moderator. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Adilo, you had raised your hand.
Okay, sorry, I'm being reminded. There was the question how they're going to receive the resource materials. That one will send by Curious Services. We shall mail to maybe the contact persons will be the WCK representatives, and then we can be able to get them from them, or they'll distribute to our schools. So the materials will come as one parcel for each region, or maybe the sub-region. We'll see how we'll do it, but we'll send through parcel. Thank you.
Okay, I saw Mr. Adilo, you had raised your hand. Mr. Adilo, you had raised your hand. You can unmute. Okay, I'm assuming there is no other question then. So next speaker is Mr. Muchuku Kennedy. He's the KWS Regional Office, Mwea National Reserve. Mr. Muchuku, you can unmute.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Corporal Kennedy Mchuku from Mwea National Reserve. I'm here representing the Director General, Mr. John Waweru, and also my warden, Mr. Daniel Gitau. First, I would like to welcome you all to Mwea National Reserve. It's a good place where you can visit and enjoy, you and your families. Thank you, the moderator, for also giving me this opportunity, and also Mr. Emmanuel, who invited me to have this talk. And I believe we shall all enjoy and have that discussion together. First of all, I would like to start with the area that Mwea National Reserve covers. It covers, it lies on a land of 42 kilometers square, a piece of land that hosts all the animals that we have here. Mwea Game Reserve was gazetted in the year 1976 under Embu County. And if I'm going fast, you can raise your hand or you can tell me to slow down. It is located in Embu County in Mbeere South sub-county. Within the reserve, we have different species of animals, whereby we have 18 species. And the most important ones, we have African elephants, and also we have the Rothschild giraffes. We have buffaloes. We have hippos, we have waterbucks, we have rock hyrax, we have dick, and we have striped ground squirrel. Also within the reserve, we are privileged to have two rare bird species. Number one, it's called pearl, that is PELS, fishing owl, and mostly found along Kamburu Dam. And also we have white-backed heron. And within the reserve, we have a major resources, whereby I'll touch some areas, which includes the vegetation of the area, the general soil within the area, the water catchment areas, which we have around this place. The vegetation of Mwea Game Reserve is dominated by Acacia mellifera. It is dominated by Acacia mellifera. Having that this area is a semi-arid area, we tend to find that most of the trees are those trees which can stay long during the dry spell. As you're all aware, those areas, like the desert areas and the semi-arid areas, they're those trees. If we do trees like the grave areas and the others, they cannot be able to sustain the drought conditions of this area, because we received minimal rains in this area. Like for the last, I believe 1 year, we didn't have that much rain within this area. So with the species of acacia, they are drought resistant. Also, we have another species of acacia called Acacia commiphora and Acacia dogni. This is found along the rivers. That is the River, and then we have Tana River. Within Greater Mwea, we have basically 3 types of soil. We have the black cotton soil, which in most areas that is found. We have red soil, and we have the gray sandy soil along the shores of the dam. Also, within our area, we have two major a major water body, that is Kamburu Dam. In fact, it acts as a border of the reserve and the community lands, whereby I believe everybody knows, all the teachers knows, that it is a major electricity production plant for the Republic of Kenya, whereby we rely from the dam to get electricity. I'll go to another major thing that we need to see about tourism within Mwea. It's a major economic activity within this area, and also cover within the entire ecosystem of Mwea in a wider aspect. Let me start with tourism, whereby within Mwea Game Reserve, we receive both domestic tourists and international tourists. And I would like to encourage all the teachers whom we have here to please try and visit the reserve. It's a very good place. We have good areas that the kids will enjoy. We have sites, we have picnic sites where you can have ample time with your families, with the kids when you visit the reserve. And currently we are in fact, we are trying to encourage all the teachers or everybody here, because at one time you're a teacher, but once you get out of the school, you become a parent, whereby you have your families. You can at least plan for a visit to come and visit us here and see what we have. I believe in some schools within our region, our area. I've never visited here, but I'm happy they have started having that passion of visiting and knowing what we have within Mwea Game Reserve. Another area that I would like to cover, it's about the horticulture farming, whereby we have 2 major rivers. Like I said before, we have Tana River, and then we have Biba River. most of the farmers have at least gained access in farming, whereby we have farmers along areas like Kiangozi. We have another area called Ngetani. We have another area called Kibeso, the entire Machanga area, and another area called Kagrin, whereby we find people even from Kirinyaga area have moved from Kirinyaga to join this area so that they can do farming. The weather itself is favorable. It's a bit hot, but once you do the irrigation part of it, whatever you planted goes fast. And also the land is not that used. It is not that degraded. That's why they tend to come. And then the land is big. The acreage of the area whereby they can, the water bodies covers, it's quite large, and accessibility of the same is good. Within those areas, they do farming, they do tomato farming, they do watermelon also, they do butternuts, they do French beans, and they do capsicum, among others. And doing this kind of farming, because most of them do large scale farming, you understand that they are able to feed the nation, and also they get something for their families as well. Not only that, they will improve the livelihood of the area, because once they come from other areas to come and develop this area, we tend to see that the area is still growing because there's that interaction from different areas of the country. Another bulletin will cover about fishing. The high concentration of fishing within this area is mainly in the dams. On the lower side, we have Kamburu Dam, and then also we have Masinga Dam, whereby fishing is allowed. But in Kamburu Dam, we have the sections where the fishermen can do fish freely. They have licenses from Fisheries Department of Kenya. And then we have the border whereby they are not allowed to fish. That implies the area along the shoreline of Mwea Game Reserve. If we get you there, definitely we have to apprehend you, because that will be legal entry for the same. The common fish that are found in this area, we have tilapia, and we have another one called common carp and catfish. The fishermen do it for commercial purposes and also for their domestic use, knowing that fish is a good commodity. It has all the nutrients. Even the doctors are advising us to be taking white meat. So the people around this place are privileged to have plenty. Another bulletin we cover about farming around the community farming around this place, whereby they do grain grams, maize, black beans. Some of them are short period plants, and they are those which need minimal rain. Because now if you find that the previous harvest, we received very minimal rain in this area. And those who planted early, in fact, they were able to get something. Like now the business is booming. Those people from Kirinyaga and Kitui visit this place now because we are having a lot of grain grams in the market. And I believe if you visit tomorrow, make a point of stopping at the center and having yourself some kgs to take back home. There's another area that I was supposed to cover about hand harvesting in this area. As you're all aware, having these water bodies and the rivers around this place, mostly we have also seasonal rivers whereby most of the sand harvesters do harvest sand in this area. But through community groups, they mobilized themselves, whereby they decided to abolish this activity, because as you all know, it's a degradation to the environment. And the more the sand harvesting is done, the more the degradation of the environment, and the more the erosion that will take place, because there are those holes that will be left, as others poses as a threat to the children who may be playing around the areas along the shores. And also they do pollution, because those guys, once they come to harvest the sand, they come with litter, they litter all over. So through the ministry, through NEMA, and in collaboration with the community around this place, they had to eradicate sand farming, mostly within the Makema division. We have minimal, in fact, like now, I can say here, I can attest to this, that we have minimal sand harvesting in this area. Having that, they're not able to harvest, they have moved further to downstream of Tana River to the areas of Kiambere. That is why currently they are doing their sand harvesting. We're going to also to cover about charcoal burning. The exercise currently, as we talk, is at extent. Is it at a minimal level? Because I think also the community saw that the rate that people are cutting down trees, knowing that the trees that they are cutting, they're the indigenous trees, and they're the trees that have taken so many years to grow, because most of them they cut the acacia trees, and having an acacia mature to the level of it being cut down and having charcoal, it would have taken so many years. So through the office of the chief and the community who are so much involved in environmental conservation, they have come up with ways of trying to eradicate the issue of charcoal burning and cutting down of trees, because the environmentalists tell us that once you cut down trees, the area still will have minimal rains, or eventually will have no rains. And having that, also, if we cut down all these trees that we're having, the acacias, our kids, the other generation, will not have that aspect of knowing that we have these kind of trees in this area. So even teachers, I believe that once you go back to school, you're going to at least to involve the kids on the importance of planting trees. And the most worst thing with this area, they barely plant trees. And that is why you tend to see that we're having less rain. I won't agree with the issue of the rain, that saying that we don't have rains, so we don't do trees. But also, I think the schools that can also apply that and plant a lot of trees, and also import that to the kids, that it is always important to do tree planting. We have the support of TARDA. They do offer seedlings to schools, I believe, so that they can do planting. I'm happy with one school around Makema Secondary School and also Kitoroloni. At least they have done great work. The teachers there have done great work. The principal and the school, the entire school, I visited the two schools, and they have done great job in planting trees. The place looks, it is evergreen, I can say that. So the representatives of those schools, that's a very good job, and keep it up. Let's cover something on sustainable conservation challenges and issues that we do encounter when we are here as Kenya Wildlife Service. And I'll start with the number one, human-wildlife conflict. As you are aware, you've been seeing even in the media that the rate of human-wildlife conflict is still in the increase. The reason why this is in the increase is, as people, we have encroached the areas that are supposed to be left for the wildlife, and also we have encroached everything. Even we have closed the corridors, whereby the migratory corridors that animals use. So whenever they want to migrate from one point to the other, we tend to find that people have done farming, people have done buildings. So the animals have no way whereby they can move from one point to the other. Also, the area that they're supposed to feed, you tend to see that farmers have gone up to the riverbank, direct to the riverbank. As few meters from the riverbank, you tend to find that people have started farming there. Now you tend to see that something like a hippopotamus, which always feeds at night, and he feeds from the grass along the river has nothing to feed on. So with this, having that, it doesn't have that portion. It has not to go to the land, to the chambers where you have cultivated your kales, you have cultivated your green grams, and that is a major problem that you're having here. Also, the dry spell which we are experiencing here, like now within Mwea Game Reserve, we have a population of 150 elephants, and we have an 16 kilometers electric fence, which covers one of the side of the reserve. So the two rivers, that is the Tiba River on the northern, Tana River on the south, act as a border and act as a buffer zone, preventing the animals to move out of the reserve to the farms. But as at now, it is critical because we have less water in the two rivers, and it is easy for the mostly for the elephants to cross over to the community land. And knowing that in the community chambers, they have done fresh and soft different species of crops. Like now, those who does watermelon, the spinach, the kales, definitely an elephant will move out there, and once it gets to a farmer, it causes havoc because these things are very soft comparing to the shrubs in the reserve, the acacia trees in the reserve. They'll tend to move out there to get some very soft, just like us human beings. That once you feed on something for a very long time, you want to change your meal and have something extra. So that poses as a major challenge as it now. But the service is doing all it can so that it can erect an electric fence along Tana River and also along the Biba River. That is with the help of the community, because at times the community tends to disagree with whatever the government want to do, saying that the government want to relocate them or take their land and without any competition, not knowing that they are doing it for their own good. Because if now 2 or 3 elephants get in your 1 acre piece of land, it will take not less than 5 hours to clear everything. And because the government just taking the buffer, the riparian land along the rivers and along the dam, so that they can do the electric fence to prevent you, so that you can have more yield and have money at the end of it all. But if you restrict now us from doing that, it will become a very challenging thing and a very stressing thing to the farmer and also to us. I'll also touch about poaching within the area. Currently, we are having a problem with subsistence poaching, whereby they poach the small animals. That includes the bushbucks, the dick-dicks, the impalas, and at times they do even zebras. These people, what they do, they use wires, they use snares. They erect the snares along the footpath, along the path of the wildlife when they are heading to water points. That is mostly where they lay their traps. And I would urge teachers who are here that at least, because I know we live within the vicinity of this area, and you might know of something, maybe an illegal butchery somewhere whereby the meat that is sold there, it is not certified by the health department. And also through our kids, if we do a sensitization to the kids, I know the first person that you can teach about the harm of having consuming meat which is not inspected is the kids. The kids can they can give you a very good information about whatever is happening within the community, because this meat, when it is poached from this reserve, it is sold within the locality. Like for example, it's done in Makima. If you go to Kiva, the meat is sold there. On the other side, there is a center called Kiangozi, and then we have another one called Gideso. So if we can be able to help each other, you help the community, help us, and us to help the community, we can be able to curb the issue of subsistence poaching within Mwea Game Reserve. And with this, the species will not come to an extinct, because even there is this small animal, the small antelope. It's called the dik-dik. Mostly they hunt it so much, and if it comes to an extinct, it will be so bad that whenever a kid comes and or sees that thing in a book and ask you for that animal, we'll have nothing to tell them, because they are all being consumed away by us. Within the reserve, we have rare cases of big game poaching. We have not had lately. We have not had any big game that includes the elephants, the giraffes. We have rare cases on the same, because the security patrols that we do undertake on daily basis, at least they are helping us even to curb these subsistence poaching, and also the help of the community along the rivers, because basically they are our brothers who are doing this, they are our sons who are doing this, our relatives who are doing this. So if we get information about a certain area, we do curb the area, we do desnaring and remove all the traps which are set within that area. And also we even in the farms out there, we tend to see that there are antelopes and there are other animals, there are small animals that people they traps, and as we see them, we don't remove them. So it's our duty, teachers and whoever is reasoning here, that whenever you get to see those wire snares placed within your area, make a point of removing them to safeguard the safety of our animals. I'll also touch about illegal wood harvesting within this area. Basically, what we have within the reserve, it's logging. We don't have those indigenous trees like the merewalk, whereby we can do wood harvesting, but we have illegal logging and firewood correction, which is not allowed, because the moment these guys get into the reserve, they do cut down all the strong trees which act as weed breakers, and not only even in the reserve, even outside the reserve, because the areas that poses as bushy, people have decided now to clear the bushes for commercial purposes and for use at home. So we have that kind of activity which is done here. But like I said, through our patrols, regular patrols, we have managed to stop illegal log harvesting. Drought is a major threat in this area. I've just covered it when I was covering about the human wildlife conflict, so I don't need to dwell so much into that. Another bulletin going to discuss about diseases within the reserve that we have encountered. In the year 2011, that is between May, June, and July, we lost 11 road-style giraffe through anthrax. As you well know, that for example, now if somebody comes and gets a giraffe from the reserve, poaches a giraffe from the reserve, have that meat, go sell it outside there, and it has anthrax. Can you imagine what the magnitude of the loss that will happen in that particular area? Because consuming meat which is not tested, and let's say it has anthrax, definitely before they get to medical facility, quite a number will have to lose quite a number. So we lost 11 giraffes through anthrax, but the situation was contained through a massive vaccination of the same. At that time, we had a population of around 41 giraffes. So you can imagine losing 11 at a go within an area. That's a very big loss to the country, to the organization, and also to the partners like the Giraffe Center, who did the translocation of the giraffes from Nairobi up to this place. So through the help of the government and the service, they managed to vaccinate, and they were able to bring that to an extent. So as from that date, we have not experienced any other outbreak within the reserve. We are facing now is the usage of fertilizers and major herbicides by the horticulture farmers along the rivers. The aquatic animals are in great danger as we talk, because some of the chemicals that they are using, they are posing as so toxic to the fish and other aquatic animals within this area, because they use very strong herbicides. Some recommended, some not recommended. Others are even importing through the back doors and the black market of this country. They're importing them from neighboring countries so that they can come and spray their farm to get maximum yield. Not knowing that when they are doing that, they are one thing, they are degrading the soil. Another thing, when that water runs back to the rivers, definitely the fish and other aquatic animals inside there, they will get affected. And the number keeps on decreasing. Every day, the number keeps on decreasing of the aquatic animals. Like in the year 2021, along the river, we lost fish, quite a number. It was very terrible, because now going along the shores, now seeing that it is like a flood of dead fish. You can imagine even how the area will be when these fish start decomposing. It was pathetic. It was pathetic. We had now to involve the fisheries department so that it can come and at least do some tests on why there was that drastic death of the same. So farmers along this area, yes, they are doing it for business, and yes, they are doing it to get their day-to-day living. But at least they should use those herbicides which are allowed and recommended for their farms. And another thing, once they do this, once they spray, there are those containers, there are those papers, they just litter around. And at the end of the day, the litter will get back either to the river, and once from the river, they'll go down to the dams. So, and once it rains, the litter is now blown out and it gets the reserve. So along the shores, at times that you can visit the shores and find that it is very dirty, full of containers, full of papers. And that is one thing that we are discouraging, even as a KWS, that we don't even allow water bottle, the ones we buy in the shop. We do allow the reusable ones. Once you come with the water, you put it inside there, and then once you get it, you still go with it, because the degradation of the environment is at a higher space, at a higher degree in Kenya. Because you find anybody maybe taking a soda, taking a yogurt, taking anything that is within a container. Once they are done with it, they just throw it anyhow. So we tend to see the environment being dirty. It is not a good thing. But I'm happy and I'm grateful that you're having teachers here, whereby once we go back to our schools, we'll be able to at least to train the kids on the importance of taking care of the environment, making sure that where we're living is clean, in other things. Are we together so far?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for the response. I'll also cover about opportunities provided by the environment. We have one corporate social responsibility. Mwea Game Reserve, Mwea National Reserve, I mean, has for quite some time done water supply for one school within this area. We have Burutani Primary School, whereby we do supply water as one of the CSR activity. We've also done some classrooms for Namori Primary School through the same activity. And also we have Makema Vocational Training Institute, where also we do supply water to them. Within Mwea Game Reserve, Mwea National Reserve, I mean, we offer student attachment from tertiary institution within the country. That is upon the student writing, requesting for that opportunity to come and have his or her attachment here. We also offer lectures to students once they visit the reserve. So whenever you're bringing your pupils or your students, they will have an educational lecture before they visit the reserve. And with that, I also want to cover something on what we do in collaboration with the community. What we do, at least to try and help them in some areas, like when human wildlife conflicts occur. Currently, we are governed by Wildlife Act 2013, whereby the government decided that it will be compensating upon any destruction, may it be death, may it be destruction of property, be it invasion by wild animals in your farm, and also injuries. What you do once an animal, a wildlife animal comes and invades your land or attacks somebody, you need to immediately report, make a report to us within 24 hours, and also visit any local administration, be it the police, the chief, so they also can record. And in matter of death, you have to come to the office so that you can present some of the papers that are needed, and you continue with burial arrangements. In case of injury, the patient is advised to take medical attention to fully recover, so that now he can present his compensation forms. After he fully recovers. Because if you bring your forms before you fully recover, and God forbid, something happens along the way, maybe you get that you're not feeling well, or the wound that was treated is not healing, and then it reappears again, and you are being paid. That will have to carry your own burden, because you rushed to bring your compensation forms. So we advise that you take ample time, you go get treatment, and we advise that you keep all your receipts with you, so that whenever you present them, anything that will be needed, you will present it. And also for the case of death, you have not present the relevant documents to us for processing. For the crops, you have to report within 24 hours to us, and we from the office, a team will be sent for verification, because there was a time we had a case, not in this place but another place, whereby dogs attacked goats at night, and they had to chew some of them, and the owner came reporting that our wild animal came and affected his farm, only to realize after some time that it was his own dog which was doing so. So as we come and verify the same, and we take photos of the affected animal, and we come with them. So once you report to us, you need to go to the veterinary department, you report the same, because them are the one who does things called evaluation. As it just to verify, the vet department or the animal department will come and verify, and they will advise on the cost at that time in the market, and how maybe if it was a female, maybe animal could have given birth to the lineage, so that they can determine how much you're supposed to get. Then once you fill the form, bring it back to us for the processing. Our offices are always open all the time. We don't have weekends, we don't have holidays. They are always open 24 hours. In fact, it's 24/7. So in case you're having any issue concerning wildlife outside there, you report immediately, so that actions will be taken as fast as possible. And with that, I think I will stop there. I believe I've covered quite a large area within the Mwea ecosystem. Any question that you might have, I might take 2 or 3 with the permission from the moderator. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sergeant Manikopro.
Corporal Kennedy.
Thank you for the very informative. Thank you for the very informative presentation that you have given to us, and the wonderful work you're doing at Mwea National Reserve. You're doing a good job. So if you have any questions, please just raise your hands. Raise the hand on the chat so that I'll be able to see you. And Mr. Mulengi says, a very effective and good presentation.
Thank you.
Mr. Kakuvu says, I'm happy that the network has stabilized. Good presentation. Mr. Katumbi says, thank you so much, patrons, for participating in this crucial training. He is humbled. So if you have any question, just raise your hands. They'll be able to see it, then we can let Mr. Muchuku respond. Do you keep Kennedy? Mr. Kennedy is a friend of his at Makima. He does a good job. Your praise is continuing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So if there is no, I believe there should, if you have a question, just raise your hand or put in the chat box. Someone is sending his claps. Presentation.
Thank you.
So if there is no other question, I'd like us to just fill up a very simple form. It's about the same presentation that speaker just. I can see Jeru has raised his hand or her hand. Just you can unmute and say.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, my question to Kennedy. Hello, please.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
My question to Kennedy.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for the very good and well elaborated session and presentation. I would just request to understand this. When you are people report about the damages done by the wildlife, do you involve the people from the agricultural sector to verify and even to account for the damages and the value of what has been damaged in order to do compensation? Thank you.
Can respond, Corporal.
Okay, thank you. Yes, in fact, what we always advise the farmers is, after you report to us, after you report to our office, we do come and do verification. And once we do the verification, you'll be issued with a compensation form. There is that portion of agricultural officer. Like I said, for death or all those kind of things and the animals, we don't do valuing. The person who does valuing in every sector is the relevant body. Like now for agriculture, you have to involve the agricultural officer to come also do the assessment. We have different stages of crop growing. Maybe it was fruiting, it was shooting. So he's the one who can come and tell us and advise us that this portion of land would have given us 10 bags of maize or that kind of a thing. And also he will value it according to the current market rate, so that now you can go through the process, the due process of the compensation, and then you receive your compensation.
Thank you very much for the great answer. Robert Mwea, you can unmute.
Okay, thanks a lot. I believe that you're able to hear me. This is Robert Mwea from Vinda Secondary in Kitui Central, Kitui County. I have a question for Kennedy, and thank you for the great presentation. I have something different. I want to ask about these domesticated wild animals and birds. If somebody wants to keep them at home, like the guinea fowls and other smaller birds, what is the process of getting to keep them? Because I hear there must be licensing from KWS. And then about the compensation, I'd like to ask about the promptness of the compensation. Will it be done in good time, or will it be a long procedure? And is it guaranteed? Because many people are not well informed about this. That is after presenting the documentation and the evidence, and after the treatments, after in case of injury or damages to the farm. How long is it likely to take? Will it be an efficient process? Because many of these processes tend to be quite slow. But my main question is about the domesticated animals, the wild animals that someone may want to domesticate. What is the procedure in this case? Because I'm interested in a few birds like the guinea fowls. I want to keep them at home. Thanks a lot.
Before you answer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Walim, for that question. It's a good question. The due process that you have to do, first you have to make the structure, make a very good structure for the same, and then you visit the nearest KWS station, so that you can be issued with the forms. There are certain forms that you have to fill, requesting for permission to be permitted to have any kind of species within your land. And then once you fill the form, you have now to bring it back to the office, whereby our office will visit your farm, having fully filled the form, because we need to know where you are keeping if now, like for your case, you want to do guinea fowls. We would like to know why you are doing it. Is it for commercial purposes? Is it for beauty? Is it for what? We need to know where you are going to source the birds. Is the place where you want to source also licensed, so that you cannot have problems along the way. And then from there, if all those areas, you will have filled all those areas, we'll have to visit your farm. We come and see the structure that you've built, because there are certain conditions that you have to meet, so that you can be allowed to have domesticate any wildlife within your farm. So if you meet all those areas, it won't take you even a day or two to be licensed. A fee of 1,500, I believe, is paid. for the license, and it is renewable every year. On the second question that you've asked about compensation, the aspect of compensation is all about the government, and there's something that I would like each and every one of us to understand, that KWS act is just an eye of the government. That whenever we come to the farm, we inspect and we see, and then we do recommend the warden. We do a recommendation, whereby after he recommends, the forms will be taken to the county compensation committee, whereby they will also sit and they recommend for the same. And then from there, it is forwarded to the headquarters that is in Langata. The director will see, or the person who is assigned to do that will do it. And then from there, it will go to the ministry. So from the ministry, they are the ones now to disperse the funds, and the forms which will be rejected, they will be brought back to us so that we can look for the owners of that to come and rectify, because there's those slight mistakes that people do. There are those omissions that people do, which makes their forms to go and get rejected. If your form is rejected, you'll still be called and you'll still be given a letter to show why your form was rejected. If you have mistakes, you will rectify. I can't say that the process can take a year or two, because once it gets out of our hand and goes to the next office, that is now the in between the ministry and KWS can take a little longer, because the committees usually meet, I think, quarterly. So that is when they sit and they compile. Currently, I can confidently say that the forms that they are given much priority as we talk as it now, mostly they are giving the death and the injury, but also for the farms they have started. In fact, I can say, and I can confidently say that they've even started paying for the destructions, property destruction. They have started paying for crop destruction and the wide spectrum of everything which has been destroyed by the wildlife. Thank you.
One more question from James Bogonko.
Yeah. Thank you. I am Bogongo James from St. Michael Kaba High School. My question also goes to our speaker. Whether the students in a school setup can be allowed also to domesticate wildlife birds like ostrich as a way of motivating them. So I wanted to know if that one is also allowed in a school setup.
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. Within a school setup, I think you'll go through register through WCK, I believe. And yes, it is allowed for them to have them, because that one will be more of educational conservation to the pupils and to the students. So it is allowed.
Thank you very much for that session. Now I'd want us to carry out a small poll before we go for a break. So it's just you pick the options. I just 2 questions and just answer them. Then you move the next. They come to your screens. Now just pick the one you would prefer, the answer that is more preferable for you, and then you close. I just give us 2 minutes for this. 30 seconds left. $15 seconds left. $10 seconds. There are like 20 people who haven't answered. $17 people haven't answered. There are few people still haven't answered. It's just as simple. Just select which option you prefer, which is likely fitting your position, so that you can move on, please. Just added a minute, so 30 seconds left, sorry. The 11 people haven't answered. So thank you very much for every person who participated in this. The answers you have given us will be very much helpful for the subsequent presentations, the subsequent workshops. So we are going to break from now. We'll come back at 11:15. So you can just leave at your own pleasure. I'll be back at this room will be open. Room per se will be open up to that during the whole time, so you can just leave at your own pleasure. And be back at 11:15 for the next presentation, which will be held by Mr. Ngumbi Emmanuel, the African Education Head, and it will be about understanding ESD, identifying ESD opportunities in the school curriculum. So we can just leave it on.